Welcome back. As we focus on what is happening in Tallahassee, I spoke late last week with Miami-Dade Mayor Daniella Levine Cava. Madam Mayor, I know that you just got back from a trip to Tallahassee. Give me a sense for what your legislative priorities are in Tallahassee and what you were trying to do while you were up there.
So Jim, I certainly am working on getting the funds we need for some of our resilience and water and sewer projects. Those are very critical to our future here. And also working on preventing some things that would override local authority, local lawmaking, like living wage and broader preemptions.
I spoke to State Senator Joe Gruters, who is actually sponsoring that bill, Senate Bill 1124, which would do away essentially with the living wage. Now, in my conversation with him, he said he didn't realize that was the effect of the bill, and he has since said that as a result of being made aware, because it was not his intention, he said, to take people who are currently making $14 an hour, for instance, under Miami-Dade's living wage, down to the state minimum wage of $10 an hour. He says he's going to change his bill, amend it so that it will not have any impact on living wage whatsoever in Miami-Dade or any other county in the state.
We need to be able to continue to implement our ordinance so that all contracts will be subject to this living wage ordinance. It has worked for us. We're definitely in a time of inflation. The cost of living has gone out of sight. We're now the second most expensive place relative to salaries to live in the country. So we cannot be rolling back the protections that we give our frontline workers. Now, we're talking about a salary under the current living wage of a minimum of $28,000 a year annually. So we're not talking about anything that is really out of sight. I mean, it's really a bare minimum. Obviously, we know the cost of living here is different than in other parts of the state, but other places that have these ordinances have done them for similar reasons. These are all strictly related to county contracting, county budget, county funds. They don't affect the general population, and we should be allowed to move forward, and this bill should not move forward.
Right, that's an important point, and I just want to make it clear for folks. In other words, the minimum wage, the county's living wage ordinance, does not apply to all businesses throughout the county. You cannot set a different minimum wage than the state's minimum wage. It only applies to those companies who choose to do business with the county and are seeking county contracts. They must pay their employees the living wage, which again, as you point out, $14 an hour, which roughly works out to $28,000, $29,000 a year. You know, so it affects, my understanding, around 22,000 individuals, 22,000 families in Miami-Dade County alone. Am I correct?
Yes, that's our estimate. You know, the city of Miami also has a living wage ordinance, Miami Beach. So, you know, for their contracting, again, it does not affect everyday business owners if they are not doing business with the county. And really, as a county government, we do not want to promote poverty wages. We want to be sure that we are providing a bare minimum. And you know, it's a base, obviously.
Okay, so again, Senator Gruters, and we'll keep an eye on him, says that he will strip it out of his bill, not just say that it'll be, you know, grandfathered in the current contracts and it'll change going forward. He said to me on camera that he will remove it entirely from the bill so that it will have no effect on the living wage going backwards or going forward. So we'll have to see if that's what, in fact, takes place in Tallahassee. But I want to turn now to resiliency, because I know that that's a major issue that we're talking about. And when we talk about resiliency, I know that tends to be like a fancy word, but we're talking about very basic things, everything from making sure that septic tank removals, you know, that we can pay for that so that they don't end up polluting Biscayne Bay. Can you put some more meat on the bone for that? What specific projects are we looking at trying to get funded out of Tallahassee, and how much funding are you hoping to bring back down to South Florida?
Yeah, so obviously we have rising seas, we have storms, and we need to be ready to protect our real estate, to protect our residents, to protect our economy. So we have many projects in the pipeline. They were well documented. We've been successful in receiving recommendation for about $44 million worth of funding for Miami-Dade County resilience projects, and we're hopeful that those will be approved in this year's budget. They were recommended by the governor, so hopefully yes. As well as the cities. Our cities also have received a number of important recommended projects. But the septic to sewer part was not funded. And I will call it a glitch because we were working diligently with the Department of Environmental Protection. They were guiding our water and sewer department on the application. And then when the grants were announced several months ago, surprise of surprises, we were not eligible. It was really a shock across the board. And it wasn't just Miami-Dade, it was Broward and Palm Beach as well. So we're trying to fix that this session so that we can continue to draw down, we're talking into the tens of millions of dollars here. And we have matching funds in our budget that we set aside to be competitive. So we need those dollars. The septic to sewer conversion is critical to protecting the bay. We've all seen, 2 summers ago, fortunately not this one, we did better, thousands of animals, marine life floating dead on the bay. This is not good for anyone, our health, our economy, our recreation, etc. Without clean water, without a clean bay, we cannot survive. And so we know that the state is committed to our bay. We know that a state task force was created. So we're very hopeful we can fix this. We're reducing our fertilizer runoff. That's another key part. But the septic system that overflow with rising water table, that's a critical part as well.
How do you find navigating Tallahassee? Do you find that they are generally receptive, not receptive? Does it make you scratch your head? When you go back to the hotel at the end of the day of lobbying up there, do you scratch your head and go, what are they thinking? What are they doing?
So I'm always very well received in Tallahassee. I'm known as a person that works across the aisle. I am not in a partisan position, and I represent the county regardless of party. These are not partisan issues. Protecting our bay, protecting our economy, making sure that we have a sewer system that works. Fortunately, nobody has turned that into partisan politics. So we just want to be sure that our good work is recognized, that our part of the state's economy is showcased and highlighted. We are a critical part of Florida's economy. And I think that we've been received as such. So I'm very hopeful for our projects.
We'll be right back.